Hey guys, welcome to another music review, and in this review, we're going to be taking a look at Jordan Felice's first album, The River. Now, prior to this recording, I had written out the review, gave it a score, and everything. And then after that was done, I came to find out that there was a deluxe version of this, and I had not reviewed the deluxe version. I had reviewed the regular. So, just for the sake of making sure that this review gets out on time, I'm going to go ahead and just review and score what the regular album, what I've done so far, and then at some point I'll go back and I'll discuss all of the deluxe tracks that came with the deluxe version. They're all remixes anyway. There's nothing new. They're all remixes, but I'll go back and I'll just talk about that or talk about them. I won't grade them or anything like that. But that'll come at another time. So for right now, The River, produced back in 2016 by Centricity Music, who I've realized I've been doing a lot of Centricity Music lately. Probably have to shake things up pretty soon. But there are 11 tracks on the regular album, and I think on the deluxe there are 5 remix tracks, so that would be a grand total of 16, but we're only going to review the 11, as I said. So the first one is really simple. It's Carry Your Troubles. It's just an intro for the album. It's about a minute long, and it's a raw recording of Jordan and a guitar. I'm assuming it's Jordan playing the guitar, and it's supposed to set up the next song. Really, is what it's supposed to do. The both the lyrics and just kind of the atmosphere is supposed to help set up the next song. Basically, Jordan is singing of a place where you can bring your troubles and be refreshed. Again, it's only a minute long. There's really nothing to it at all. Track 2 is The River. So this is that what I would call like a heart pumping, like youth jumping up and down at a concert type of. This is a jumping song in a sense. You know, you ever see? It's like a Christian version of a mosh pit. Only instead of people being tossed around like rag dolls, it's a bunch of youth jumping up and down in, all in sync. The song is about going to the river, which the river is an an analogy for Jesus, and it's about going there to pray and be washed, renewed. It's not a worship song per se because it's not really direct. It's not really directed to Jesus itself. It's more just telling about him. But it's a very nice dance song that celebrates the healing that Jesus provides. So, good song there. Track 3, Never Too Far Gone. This one, for some reason, kind of reminds me of like a boy band or something. I don't know why. It's just kind of the feeling that I get from it. Normally, that would be a very bad thing, but in this case, Jordan makes it work. So it's not as fast as The River, but it's got some heavy quarter notes on the bass drum in it to kind of give it an emphatic feel. I actually love the songwriting in this. So there's a nice contrast between what Jordan is doing with the vocals versus what all of the instruments are doing. The instruments seem to be a lot more steady, but Jordan is stretching his vocals out a lot. I picture, for whatever reason, I picture like when Jordan is singing this song on stage, like I could just picture him behind a microphone on a stand, just kind of swaying back and forth to it. It's that kind of especially in the second half of the chorus. It's got like some type of a swaying feel to it, if that makes any sense at all. Also kind of like marching in place a little bit too. But anyway. So the singer is Jesus telling the listener it doesn't matter what they've done or how far they've run or anything like that. They can still come back and be found, and his arms are always going to be open. That's basically the gist of the song. And so it's a good song overall. Track 4 is Best of Me. So there's some guitar and some mumbled or what I call yeah-yeahs at the start. It's you'll have to listen to it in order to kind of understand what I'm talking about. But Jordan's just kind of like mumbling the word "yeah" over and over, and there's some guitar in the start of it. So that's kind of what I mean by that. It's a similar style to The River. It's got that dancing music kind of going on for it. There's a little bit more involvement from the drums in this one, but well, the pre-chorus is like as far as the drums go, is like it's got some snare rim quarter notes that are being played, and I guess that's supposed to be piano with it, but it's that's part of the build, and it's building up, and then when it finally gets to the chorus, you think it's going to go in one direction, and it actually goes in like a completely different direction, almost like a halftime feel. And while it works, I don't know. I would have preferred it going in like a completely different direction where you had just like at that point, instead of a mellow halftime feel, you go into something like that's like, just kind of wild and crazy a little bit, because that's what it felt like it was going to. But anyway, the singer starts with what happened when God entered his life and ends in the chorus with how he works in today. So that's basically the gist of the song. Overall, it's a good song. It's just I would have preferred a slightly different creative direction there leading up to the chorus. Track 5 is Beloved. I know that, aside from The River, I know this one is one that is, pardon the pun, beloved among fans. This is definitely a big radio hit. It's a more of a typical slower pop kind of a sound. That's something too I should mention about Jordan. Like a lot of Jordan's stuff is very pop heavy, but I mean that's just the day and age that we live in now. It's maybe a little bit brighter than some of the other ones that we've looked at so far. The singer, which may be Jesus, it's not really specified if it's Jesus or not, is singing to someone who is not feeling any value with themselves or their lives. They feel pretty hopeless, basically, and letting them know the truth that they're beloved. Really, really straightforward message and everything, and it's a song of encouragement for a lot of people. So I can understand why people like this one, and it's I'll talk about later, but it's one that is you can kind of tell is made to be a single. So there's that going for it. Track 6 is Simple, and to me this one kind of sounds like a more of an acoustic pop kind of a sound to it. It's got some acoustic elements to it, and it still keeps that pop genre. The drums, to me, sound more real than they have in the entire album so far, but they still sound studio. And what I mean by that is they actually sound like real drums instead of a program, but they're so... the audio is so condensed that you can tell it's still very much a studio sound. There's some nice piano and kind of like horn-like parts in the chorus. And the singer expresses to God how when he shares the gospel, he doesn't want to complicate it or let his pride get in the way, which is something that many people have a problem doing with. So that's a good reminder to all of us. Track 7 is Cheer You On. Not really much to say musically about this one. It's kind of a feel-good type of song, because I don't know. I guess people feel, people rely on those feel-good type of songs. The music and the vocals blend really well in this one. The singer is a person, again, maybe Jesus. We're not really specifying here, but it's a person encouraging people to stay strong as they run their race. Basically, I'm paraphrasing the "run their race" because Jordan does not specifically mention that phrase. I'm just paraphrasing because it just seemed easier to kind of relate the message. That's how I took it. But the song as a whole, though, especially since we don't know the identity of the singer, the song, I don't know, it just kind of feels a little bit more like it could be a hit on secular radio than it would on Christian radio. And maybe that's the whole point. I don't know, but I don't know. I just to me, I don't think it's not that it's a bad song. It's just that I don't want to say it doesn't lend anything to the album, but I don't know. It's just something about it just kind of stands out a little bit more negatively. Track 8, on the other hand, does not, and that is called Your Great Hands. So this one is actually fast, but it feels slow. So take a listen to that, and you'll probably understand what I'm talking about. It could be considered an intimate type of song. Definitely the lyrics are. The singer vows to put his life in God's hands and doesn't pander. He doesn't pander to a particular crowd. So in this song, like there's no he doesn't feel like he has to, not this not the singer in the song, but I'm talking about like Jordan himself. It's like when it feels like when this was being made, he wasn't making it to please a certain demographic. And I don't know, it just, this song just seems very universal, and I like it. I actually would like to hear a duet with Lincoln Brewster for this song. I can't explain why, but I get the feeling if Jordan and Lincoln Brewster did a duet on this song, I can't tell you why, but I think that would be just one of the greatest things in the world. I think it would sound pretty awesome, actually. But anyway, track 9 is Live It Out. So this might be my least favorite on the entire album. It's got a fine drum groove in the verses, but honestly, it's this groove I think is played way too much. Like maybe come in the second half of the verse or something. But I can't believe I'm saying this. I'm a drummer, and I'm saying that the drum groove in the verses is too distracting overall. Like it's played too much. Have it coming in the second half, I think you'd have a little bit better music composition there. As far as the song itself, though, it's supposed to be kind of like another dance song, dance pop kind of a song. But it to me, this one just doesn't work as well as the other ones that we've come across on this album. You know, I don't like, one thing I definitely do not like is Jordan's high yas in the chorus. I just they just seem too high for him to reach. It just sounds like he is really having to stretch for it. And honestly, I just don't think that they work with the song anyway. You know, so it's a lose-lose there. You know, it just kind of sounds weird. But anyway, as far as the message goes, the singer can't contain the joy within him and wants to put the love of God on full display. So that's the gist of that one. Again, my least favorite of the album. Track 10 is How Long. So this one's kind of soft at the beginning. It's got some piano playing and some distorted notes that are being played on the upbeats. I'm not really sure by what, but the song has more echo, it seems, than the other ones. I feel like with a lot of the notes, I can almost sense a bit of an echo that wasn't there in previous songs. So I guess a point for variety. Let's see. Oh yeah, there's also strings in this one. They get added pretty late, like maybe in the final minute and a half of the song or something, but they do get added in, which is nice. The singer is beaten and wants to know how much longer this, the way his life's going right now, how long that's going to last, and if Jesus will always be there. And he comes to realize that both of these are unending. So not only is Jesus always going to be with him, but also this life of being beaten and feeling, constantly weary and everything like that, it's going to feel like that for as long as he's on earth. And the reason for that is because, contrary to popular opinion, contrary to what we want, this is the life of a believer in Jesus, that we are going to, we'll have times of peace and rest, but a lot of the times, in our walk, we're going to be suffering some type of suffering. So it's the sooner we come to terms with that, I think the sooner that we will actually put our focus and our attention on God instead of our own worries. But anyway, final track for the regular album is Satisfied, and this one is it's just piano at the start and the strings get added later. This is an intimate song where the singer prays that he prays, may only God satisfy his soul because his heart belongs to him. So it's a very very nice way to close out the album with an intimate prayer. And that is it for the regular album. And at some point I'll go back and I'll review or I'll talk about anyway the remixes on the deluxe track or deluxe album. But so let's talk about this one for a second. So Jordan's debut presents someone who really looks to share his excitement about God with people and let them have fun while they're learning about it. So all these kind of dance numbers and everything, they're ways for people to have fun, but at the same time they're still learning, they're still hearing, as long as they're paying attention anyway, they're still learning the gospel from these songs, which that can be a bit of a lost art. I think some people focus too much on the having fun and getting people to like the music, and they kind of neglect the gospel message a little bit. The production turned out well. I never struggled to hear what Jordan was saying, really. There wasn't any type of mixing issues as far as that goes. So I think I'm going to give this a 3.9 out of 5. In terms of style, there's not much in diversity. It's dominated by the pop sound. But what may help it, though, is Jordan's voice, which sounds absolutely amazing and energetic. I won't say that Jordan has necessarily. I mean, he has a strong voice, but it's not like really high tier in terms of like strong and powerful. But it's very solid enough, and his voice really helps carry this music through. The composition is pretty good, but it's standard. So I mean, it's solid for what it is, but doesn't really play around, doesn't really do much with the music. The messages are good. Assuming that Jordan is going to stay in this style because that's the way that modern Christian music is. I'd like to see the music branch out further within this style. I think there's a lot of things that could be tapped into, even still within this pop style. So I'm hoping he does that in this next album. We'll have to wait a few days to see, at least at the time of this recording. I think the album, though, lays out a good foundation for a career that I hope lasts for a while. I really do hope that he sticks around for a while because, I think he's got a fantastic voice, and I'm interested to see where this is going to go. My favorites in this album are of course The River. I just love I love this song. It's not my favorite Jordan Feliz album because ironically enough, I've been listening to the first single that's going to be coming from the next album, Future, Witness. Witness is easily right now my favorite Jordan Feliz album, but we'll talk about that when the album actually comes out. But The River is probably a close second for me. I like that song a lot. I also like Never Too Far Gone. This is still on my top favorites, by the way. Never Too Far Gone, Your Great Hands, Satisfied, and I'm also gonna put Beloved on here, but I'm putting it at the back, kind of like just in between my top favorites and my second tier. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I do love the song Beloved, but I think the song suffers from something I've talked about in the past, where I feel like it almost is too written to be a single. I've said before that I like singles to be the ones that turn out to be singles. I like for them to be a surprise, and sometimes songs are just really well written. And this one, though, I feel like they were trying to push this one to be a hit on the radio. And again, it's a good song. It's just I don't like songs that. Or I don't like it when songs feel like that. But again, check it out. It's still a good song. For my second tier, I also like Best of Me, and that's really the only one that I have there. I like Best of Me overall. It's just, again, I didn't like the direction that they took after the build in the chorus. So, but anyway, that's all I have for this one. I don't know when I'm gonna go back and review the other remix tracks from the deluxe version. I'll try to squeeze that in, but I'm really wanting to move on. I've been talking about how I've wanted to cover Anthony Evans for a while, and I'm still wanting to cover some other more current artists before I go back and cover some older stuff. And plus I've had a lot of things going on, some transitions and stuff happening at home that are I'm still trying to get used to and still in the middle of. But so I'm trying to put out videos as best I can, you guys. But you got to bear with me on that. But I have a pretty solid idea of what I'm going to do for music reviews, and I've just kind of written out a basic game plan for what I'm going to do as far as drum covers go. Drum covers are probably the hardest thing for me to be doing right now, because it doesn't really take much for me to write out and record a music review. But for drum covers, I've got to have like full days in order to be able to do that, and I just haven't really had them. But I promise I will try to get some out as soon as I can. I've got some that are edited and finished. They just need to be uploaded, but it's finding time to record new ones. But anyway, as far as this review is over, I'm done. So thank you guys very much for listening. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know, what you think of it, and please, if you have anything that you would like me to review, please don't hesitate to tell me, and I will see if that's something that I want to take a look at in the near future, or maybe somewhere down the line. But I always am looking for suggestions to go along with my ideas. So I'm gonna go ahead and end the video off. Thank you once again, and I will end this as I usually do, saying, "May the Lord bless you and keep you, and please, as always, take care."